my brother influenced me into joining. He said, if you're going to go in, go for the best, the hardest trained.
Did you have any other branches that you possibly were looking at?
I did. I was going to go into the Army, but he was a major factor in dissuading me. I don't know, in some ways he gave me a little bit of confidence to make that selection.
So do you remember like your first days in boot camp and what it was like and everything like that?
Yes, sir. Got there and it was nighttime, kind of disorientating. Drill instructors get on the bus, yell at you to get out, and stand on the footprints and take your first steps.
Do you remember any like specific feelings?
I do. Terror, nervousness, questioning whether or not I made the right choice. Up north to learn how to shoot, one of the drill instructors became extra motivated and decided to dress up as a recruit in the live firing exercises at night, and ended up tackling a couple of recruits that were giving him problems, is what we heard. Next day we were standing tall, trying to figure out who did it, everything like that. But I mean, it's pretty much as far as it went. They're seared into memory as far as how they spoke, their mannerisms, how they carried themselves, saying my name specifically.
Tell me a little bit of how you got through it mentally and physically, for that fact.
Well, mentally, I relied a lot on a fellow Marine fellow recruit that was from Texas. It was kind of like a piece of home. He'd been in the same places, he'd had the same experiences. Physically, I gave it my all every day. I failed a lot and was ridiculed, but no matter how much they did so, going in with a last name like Darling, I heard it a lot, and oh my darling, and things like that. But it toughens you up, makes you a man.
So let's fast forward a little bit to the campaign that you were in. Which campaign or war were you involved in?
OIF 2. We were stationed in Camp Fallujah, just outside the main mech for that area. Abu Ghraib wasn't far away. Garma is the name of the town. I couldn't remember from before, but Garma is the place where we set up shop and acted as a fob. Undercover Night, we were loaded onto 7 tons and drove on the freeway. It was hot, even though it was nighttime. Every bridge we passed under was, every safety video we had seen up to that point just run through my mind of, an improvised explosive device. So it was pretty alarming. And once getting to our destination, jumping off the back of a 7-ton, it was like flour. It just kind of hit you in the face and stuck to you, and it took you a while to get your bearings.
Do you remember what your job was over there, or your assignment?
Yes, sir. I was originally I was a radio operator, but whenever we were deployed, we were turned into a truck platoon. We were one of 2 truck platoons that went. I was in charge of driving the 7 tons, bullets and beans and troops, and getting them to where they needed to go. Driving, standing watch, It wasn't anything that me or my fellow Marines didn't do.
Did you see combat while you were over there?
Yes, sir.
Were there many casualties in your unit that you remember?
There was only one, Lance Corporal Qualls, who we just honored this past Memorial Day. He was one that didn't make it back, but except in spirit.
Tell me a little bit about your most memorable experiences. Things you remember, I mean, just like it was yesterday.
I remember going to Camp Abu Ghraib. I remember the city, the side smells, taking over the train station. As far as most memorable, I really couldn't say. It was all just sort of surreal, except for, there is one thing. My son was born while we were deployed. We were 4 months into deployment, and he came along, and I got word through the Red Cross while I was out at Garma with the platoons, with the infantry platoons. That the pictures and videos and stuff like that were able to get out to me. So it was really something special to not only that, but I got promoted in country. So that was an experience unlike any other I've ever felt. But the day we got back was, I got to hold my son for the first time. That was pretty surreal. Getting to see people I didn't think I'd ever see again, and to have all those feelings rush at you at once was a lot. It was real hard to adjust back to life. It was hurry up and wait was what I was used to. So sitting in one place too long, I got anxious, and it's like somebody turned the volume down on the whole world. People that yelled just sounded like they were talking. People that blew their horns in traffic, and it just didn't seem like that big a deal. Like there were bigger problems in the world, and people here had no idea. So,
did you find it difficult to adjust?
At first, I've found that, to a certain extent, you can focus on other things. You can, some things will always be with you, no matter what, but you can focus on the positive in life, just doing things for yourself, doing things for others, especially, seeing others succeed or helping out fellow Marines adjust. It's a real... Taking your mind off yourself helps a lot.
When you got back, did you immediately start working, or did you immediately go back to school? How did that work out?
I did. I was working for Dish Network at the time when I got deployed. When I came back, it was a different world to me. So I went back through retraining. It didn't last very long. I did a couple of other jobs, Dunbar Armored, things like that. It wasn't until I took the civil service exam, and it took about 8 months, even with the preferential or the added points to the score for being a veteran, that I found my niche as a postman. My best friend was in the Marine Corps with me. He stayed in longer, but we still keep in contact to this day, and it's like it could be 6 months before I hear from him, and it's like we just pick up where we left off. So there's really a brotherhood there.
How long do you think you guys have been friends?
Oh wow, I'd say about 16 years. When people at the post office, like, you get tasked with a lot of things to do, and some of them you may not even be trained for, just depending on what they want you to do. They're short-handed, so they want you to do it all. I've heard a lot of people say, well, that's not my job, I don't know how to do that, I haven't been trained to do that, and instead I wonder why people don't say, well, I don't know, but I'll find out how to do this and how to do it the way they want to do it. It's a little bit difficult because there's the union aspect of it, so you want to work as hard as you can, but and you do. I mean, there are people that skate, and then there are people that work as hard as they can until they retire. And I've backed off a little bit, but I'm still pretty gung-ho about whatever I do. I'd say it's a good experience. I mean, you need that core structure. I feel like everybody should at least go through boot camp. Whether or not you serve is neither here nor there, but you need a structure for your life, and it gets you organized and takes you to a place of rock bottom and builds you up, and you can pretty much handle anything from there.
This is kind of a loaded question. I want you to think about it before you answer.
Okay.
What has gotten you through life from the point you put down the uniform all the way up until now? What's been your rock?
Family, my kids. I didn't know how to be a dad at first. Mine wasn't there, so the closest to me was my papaw. He was a Navy CB, so he had a deep respect for the Marines. So I guess you could say that was another contributing factor. Just family, pretty much. They're always there. Don't let people tell you no. Fight whatever doubts people have about you. Make goals, make small attainable goals, and then achieve them, and then before you know it, you one after another until you reach big goals. Things you never thought you would be able to do. Don't count yourself out before you give yourself the opportunity. Just try. Just give it your best shot.
Cool deal, man. We appreciate your time.
I appreciate it.
Scott Darling here, Corporal Scott Darling, and thank you for your service.
Thank you, sir.